What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Amateur TV, where today I'm reacting to the All-NBA team, specifically our boy right here, Pascal Siakam, making it to the All-NBA third team. The perfect video to put on Amateur TV, the second channel for Amateur Studios. The main channel, Amateur Sports, is professional focus on the Toronto Raptors 3 to 4 times a week. This is the second channel where I like to talk about more NBA stuff, especially concerning the Toronto Raptors. So if you like that kind of stuff and you like today's video, make sure you drop a like to let me know what kind of content you want to see, what you enjoy, and also be sure to subscribe for videos all throughout the offseason. But again, we are talking about Pascal Siakam making the All-NBA third team, as he should have, as he absolutely deserved. Yes, he snuck into that third team, actually got the least amount of votes of anybody in the All-NBA teams, but hey, he got in. That's going to go down on his resume, and it's going to look so good there. And again, he absolutely deserved it. He worked so hard to get to this position. What a season he displayed. We're going to talk a lot about everybody on these All-NBA teams, if anybody got snubbed, who was robbed, if there's any positions I have a problem with. And we're also going to discuss Pascal Siakam's season as a whole and why he deserved to get into this position. So I could have made this video yesterday. Unfortunately, I just wasn't able to do it. I was at work yesterday. That's why this video is coming a day late. But nonetheless, let's look at the tweet that broke it out. Shams broke out the teams here. And as you can see, Pascal Siakam on the third team with Kat, LeBron, CP3, and Trae Young. First team. Second team, I mean, not a lot that I really have a problem with here. I think that voters pretty much nailed all three of these teams. The ones that people have the biggest problem with are Joel Embiid on the second team, Devin Booker on the first team, and LeBron a little bit on the third team. And also Pascal Siakam even being here, people have a problem with. And we're going to talk a lot about that. So here's my take for Joel Embiid. A lot of people are complaining that he was second in MVP voting and got way more votes than a lot of guys in the first team, yet still he's on the All-NBA second team. So right now, you're only allowed one center per team. Joel Embiid was the second best center in the NBA because the MVP was Nikola Jokic. So as far as making the first team, Joel Embiid did not deserve it. Now, if you want to have a conversation about adding in, different positions or making the All-NBA teams positionless, that's a completely different discussion. But based on the current rules, Joel Embiid is All-NBA second team, as unfortunate as it is, because he was the second best or third best player in the NBA and deserves an All-NBA first team nod, but Jokic was the better center. Devin Booker was one of the highest ranked in the MVP voting. Don't let one playoff game, that game 7 against the Dallas Mavericks, fool you, because Devin Booker had an outstanding season and absolutely deserved to be recognized for it. Could you add in maybe like a John Morant or Steph Curry ahead of him? Potentially, but ultimately, I'm pretty happy with Devin Booker in that position. Then you go to LeBron. There's people complaining that LeBron should have been second team. There's people complaining that LeBron should not have been on any team, but I understand the notion that they don't make the playoffs. Maybe they shouldn't be here. I will remind you, though, that Steph Curry didn't make the playoffs last year and still got into the All-NBA second team. So you can just have that good of an individual season that it trumps what your team accomplished. So even though the Lakers didn't even make the playoffs, didn't even make the play-in tournament, LeBron James was on another level this season, absolutely deserves some All-NBA recognition. I would argue he could have moved up to second team ahead of DeMar DeRozan, who faded off so quickly after such a great start. But ultimately, I'm pretty content with him there on the third team. And a lot of people, like even this tweet right down here, are complaining about Pascal Siakam making the team. And this is nothing new. This is nothing new for Raptors fans to see. Everybody's always getting mad at Pascal Siakam. They just can't handle the fact that Pascal Siakam is actually a good basketball player. It's just a player that just the NBA community decided collectively they just clown on for no real reason. The same goes for Paul George. They kind of both fit into that category. But Siakam was outstanding this season. I mean, the season that he displayed was by far the best of his NBA career. We're going to take a look at his stats in here. 22.8 points per game. Probably the most efficient year of his career when you consider the amount of threes that he was taking. Almost 50% shooting from the field for a guy who's taking 17.8 shots per game. Crazy. The type of shots that he's taking as well. Got his three-point percentage back up from last season. Last season was under 30. This year, he was almost pushing 35%. Like the effective field goal percentage of 52.5. I'm coupling that with the amount of shots that he's taking. Sure, there has been more efficient seasons, but not with the amount of load that he was taking. And some of the biggest things about Siakam is, with all these points, he's adding in the rebounds, career high in rebounds by far. Adding in the assists, career high in assists by far. Like, he was just absolutely sensational. People have had criticism for Pascal Siakam's ability to do it in big games, to do it in playoff games. He showcased that. That doesn't factor into the All-NBA voting system. However, when you go to the clutch circumstances, there's so many extra games the Raptors win because Pascal Siakam is there to hit the big shots, to get the buckets when we need it. Like, we were finally in a position as the Raptors, just give him the ball and just kind of get out of the way and say, hey, Pascal, go and get us that bucket. Go and get us this win. And he was doing that pretty much all throughout the season. And it's just so great to see because the amount of scrutiny that he faced after the 2020 playoffs, like so much hate, so much scrutiny. And after the Tampa season, where people were begging the Raptors to trade this guy, and all throughout the process, all throughout the last couple of years, I've been sticking my neck out talking about how like Siakam's such a special player. You have no idea what you'd be missing out on if you trade him. The Raptors need to keep him. The Raptors need to prioritize him. And I really stuck out my neck for this guy, and there's a reason why. So I knew he was always this talented of a player. And the fact that he was able to produce is just outstanding to see. It's just outstanding to see, to go against all the hate that he was receiving, all the hate that he was aware of. And, I backed him. A lot of you out there backed him as well. It's very refreshing to see a little bit of reward for the way he was playing because he was robbed from the All-Star team. And people in the comments as well of that post were saying, how can you not make the All-Star team and make All-NBA? Well, it's pretty simple. He was robbed of a spot on an All-Star team. And the fact that he's in the All-NBA team now solidifies that stance that he absolutely was robbed of a position on the All-Star team. Nonetheless, look at the voting breakdown here, kind of illuminating for some of the players here. So Siakam, the least amount of votes, 100%, but hey, he's on the team. When it goes down on his resume, they're not going to say how many votes that he got. I will say it is pretty interesting. LeBron actually got some first-team votes, but still ended up on the second team, maybe by a small amount. Could have easily passed DeMar DeRozan with a few extra votes, but what also is pretty crazy is that Joel Embiid received 414 votes, which is more than Jason Tatum, yet still wound up on the second team. He had 57 All-NBA first-team votes, but a lot of second-team votes. And the fact of the matter is Nikola Jokic was the MVP. He wasn't even unanimously voted onto the first team like Giannis was, but still. If you want to talk about changing the system so you can have two centers in the first team, sure, but that just wasn't the case this season. So it is what it is on that front, but we're mostly focusing on the Pascal Siakam thing. I haven't seen any. I would love to see some votes for guys who just missed out, how close Siakam was to missing out, because people are talking about Jimmy Butler like he should have been on the team instead of Pascal Siakam. And I think the biggest thing for that is the fact that the Miami Heat were the first seed this year. They're saying the Miami Heat are the first seed. They need a player on the All-NBA team. And to a degree, okay, I can kind of understand that. But, also, when you look at Jimmy Butler in comparison to what Pascal Siakam did, it's pretty clear to see Siakam is the better player this season. Jimmy Butler had less points per game, was less efficient from the field, was less efficient from three, both of those on less attempts, less in the effective field goal percentage, far less rebounds, about the same in the assist category, and I would strongly wager that Siakam is the better defender. There wasn't really any part of Jimmy Butler's game that was better than Siakam this season, other than the fact that the Miami Heat were the 1 seed. The Raptors were still, 48 wins. They were the 5th seed. And the way Siakam played individually, coupled along with the success that the Toronto Raptors had, especially above the expectations projected for them earlier on in the season, Siakam is 100% deserving of the spot. The stats showcased that. The team success showcased that. How impactful Siakam was on both ends of the court. Involved in that team success. There are so many factors that suggest it. And voters, they got this one right by putting Siakam here. People just love to hate on Siakam. It's so great to see validation and Siakam. It's great to see him succeeding and getting the validation for all the hard work that he has put in to rise above the scrutiny and rise above all this talk about his game. I truly do love to see it. I'm so happy for him, so proud of him for being able to recover from that injury in the offseason, his first surgery in his career in the offseason, to bounce back and perform like this. I'm wondering, can he get even better next season? Is this the plateau? Because he's really not that old, right? He's probably in the midst of his prime. Can he get even better next season? And even if he maintains this level, I'll take that because he is playing so phenomenally well. So that is it for today on Amateur TV. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like. We just hit 400 subs as well, and you can add on to that. We're going to start a road to 500 subscribers on here. So thank you so much for supporting. Thank you so much for watching the videos, and thank you for enjoying the content, hanging out with me on here. Check out our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/amateur sports for more amateur content, and I'll see you again next time for another video on Amateur TV.